Hey guys, what's going on? So, another fun thing has happened today. My friends over at NIS America have actually given me a review code for Fallen Legion Revenants. Now, this is a game that wasn't really on my radar, but I've played a little bit of it now, and I'm going to go over kind of what to expect in the gameplay department, and also maybe what kind of game this would be for, like, you know, what kind of person this game would be for, because I'll tell you what, it's not what I had in mind when I thought of an action RPG, but it's pretty interesting. But hey, without further ado, let's talk a little bit about Fallen Legion Revenants. Hey, before I go too far into the review, I do want to state that all these views are my own. This code was given to me for free from NIS, but it was, you know, under the pretense of, hey, do a review. Did you like the game? Did you not like the game? So I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about it. I will say this, though. The game does come out on the Nintendo Switch and the PS4, I guess probably 5 through backwards compatibility tomorrow. So if you're watching this on the day of release, it's the 15th of February, the 16th of February. Tomorrow is when it comes out in the North America, and I believe it comes out a little bit later in the 19th in Europe. So hey, that being said, let's jump into what this game's all about. So Fallen Legion Revenants is an action RPG. It's on the PS4 and on the Switch. I'm playing it on the Switch right now. And I will tell you what, it's pretty cool. You play as a character named Rowena, who is the former chancellor of a very, very bad guy named Ivor, who was wrongly executed, right? So the thing is, though, is her will to free her son from Ivor's clutches has, like, kept her in this world as a revenant. And as a revenant, she gets to control these, like, spiritual weapons, and that goes into the whole combat thing. But before I go into that, I'm going to show you this line from Ivor. I'm telling you, Ivor is like one of the best evil characters I have ever heard in a game. Like, just listen to this.
Look into my eyes as I say this to you. Every story you heard about me is true, you arrogant prick. When I'm done with you, Counselor Lucian, the master manipulator, will no longer exist. Your cherished wit, your gift for conversation and cunning, I will steal every part of you that's worthwhile.
But anyway, on to the gameplay. So the gameplay, you control the Revenant herself, and she basically is like a puppet master to these exemplars, or like, you know, kind of like your soldiers, your characters. Now, each character is tied to a specific face button, so at any given time, you can have a total of 4 characters, including Rowena. And so she would be represented by X, and then the other 3 are represented by B, A, and Y. Now, there are all sorts of things these characters can do. First off, you can, of course, attack, just regular standard attack by pressing the button that corresponds to that character. Also, you can block, and if you do a perfect block, you'll actually deflect back at the enemies. Now, if you break an enemy's guard, you get to go to town on them. So, obviously, a very good plan is to try to deflect shots from ranged characters back at them so you can break their guard and go in it. Now, if you see next to the letter corresponding to the character, there's a little gauge with 3 hits on it. So that gauge is basically when and how you can attack, and that's where you work out the timing. Now, the timing itself is a little tricky, but when you have a couple characters out there, you can space it out and keep the combo going. Now, the reason you want to keep combos going is after you win a round of matches, you actually get the ability to, depending on how good you did, get new power-ups and buffs that you can put onto the characters permanently. And like I said, you get those by dealing damage and building up a really high critical count, also not dying, also deflecting perfect deflections. Basically, the better you do, the better rewards you're going to get. Battles themselves are pretty cool. It's set up a lot like, think Megaman Battle Network or Megaman Star Force, where you and your characters and the enemies all have their own kind of grid. And you can move back and forth on the grid, and different squares are going to do different things depending on you and depending on the environment. So as a for instance, you can heal as the Revenant. She can heal her exemplars. However, she basically puts healing onto a square, so they need to be standing onto that square. Another thing is the characters also get special moves, and of course you get more special moves the more you play, the more you unlock. But those moves can also manipulate you or the enemies on the battlefield. A good example is this chap here with the hat and the rapier. He has an ability that can stab someone and bring them forward. Later on, you unlock this girl with a gun. She can throw a grenade that makes a tornado that can also bring people forward. Other than that, as the Revenant, you actually have a couple different options. You're not just healing, but you can also blow enemies backwards and forwards with spells you get. And of course, as the game progresses, you also unlock more spells with that character. So in between missions, you basically spend time at this mansion as Lucian, who is the only person who can see the Revenant. And at these points are when you're gathering information, and you're also going to unlock weapons and apply the buffs that you've earned by doing well in battles. Now, this is what sets up the framework of the game. I don't want to spoil any plot here, but that's kind of your hub in between missions. Now, there's one very, very interesting thing about this situation, and that is in the middle of an action stage, you could come up on a branching path. And for instance, in the very first mission, you know, they need to know, hey, do we need to go to this valley or do we need to go to this mountain? So then it cuts back to Lucian, and now you're on a timer, and you basically have a small amount of time to go through and gain information using kind of your political weight with characters in the mansion to figure out which way you need to send the crew back in the action stage. So it's kind of cool, you know, it would be very one note without that. And that is the one thing that really, to me, like, kind of opened my eyes to how much I think I was going to enjoy this game. And then, well, you know, lo and behold, from there, it only got better. One cool thing I did want to point out, and I only noticed this with boss fights so far, I'm sure it's going to apply to stronger enemies as well, but in a boss fight, the defense gauge of the bosses is much higher, of course, than a regular enemy, but when you break it, basically you have unlimited attacks for a small amount of time. Remember how earlier I said you basically have 3 attacks that you need to recharge? Well, when you break the guard of this character, you can go and just wail on them, which is great if you have a bunch of special moves lined up. It really kind of like adds a bunch of punch to this game, which is very, very cool. And it's, you know, as far as action RPGs go, this is a really cool one. It reminds me a lot of, like I said earlier, Megaman Battle Network, Megaman Star Force. It's not like full-on action RPG like maybe a Trials of Mana, but it's kind of like that pseudo-strategy, pseudo-turn-based action RPG that is reminiscent of those Battle Network games. I do want to point out one thing, and this is just literally personal to me. It's not you know, a big complaint that I can throw around for you know, everyone to think about, but me personally, I will say I don't like the art style that much. It's not bad. I mean, it's hand drawn. It looks cool. But it's not really the art style, I guess is maybe the wrong word. But you know, like in Flash games, when like an asset was made of a bunch of pieces, and then those pieces like kind of rotated, and you could tell that it wasn't fluid. It didn't like look right. It didn't look like connected. That's the way the art kind of feels to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't want to be that Debbie Downer guy, because someone obviously took a long time to draw these characters, and they look good. It's just like the way each individual piece pivots or flexes. You know, I don't know. It reminds me of like Metalocalypse or something. But I don't know. Hey, that's my one complaint. I mean, I'm not gonna harp on it too much. I just had to say that because, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, this is the perfect game. You know, Sunshine and Roses. I mean, you know, once again, personal thing, but it's something that really did kind of bug me. But yeah, I mean, you know, that is Fallen Legion Revenant. Like, this game is pretty dang cool. I didn't expect, you know, to really anything, because I had never even heard of this game. And when I got the code, I was like, oh, you know, I'll check it out. And I found myself really kind of sinking my teeth in and really enjoying it. But hey, what do you guys think? You know, is this a game that looks interesting to you? I'd really like to know in the comments down below. And that is Fallen Legion Revenants kind of in a nutshell, kind of a, you know, a a 30,000 foot view of it. But hey, you know, like I said, when I'm playing action RPGs, I don't typically think of this style. It kind of feels like a blend of turn-based and strategy and action a little bit all together, but that's just kind of my feel on it. What do you guys think? I know this game is a series, so this is the first time I've ever touched it. So if you guys are fans, let me know in the comments down below, you know, kind of how you feel about it. And if you haven't played it before and you think you're going to check it out, I'd like to know that too. But like I said, this game does come out tomorrow, the 16th, for North America, and the 19th in Europe, if you happen to be watching from across the pond. But hey, you know, like I said, let me know in the comments down below how you guys feel about this game. That's going to do it for us today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. You know, and thank you, NIS, for hooking me up with this code. You know, I love these opportunities. I love the opportunity to check out games that I typically probably wouldn't have, you know, stumbled upon on my own. But hey, that being said, if you like the video, please leave a thumbs up or thumbs down, comment, and all that jazz. Subscribe if you haven't. That'd be really cool. And as always, take it easy.